EWP Controlled Descent Escape. A controlled descent escape from an EWP may become necessary in the event of a mechanical failure, a fire in the basket, broken hydraulic hoses, or any other damage to the vehicle that prevents the basket from being lowered to the ground. Where these circumstances occur, it's important to balance the need for a rapid response with actions to ensure your own personal safety from both electrical contact and potential fall situations. Before work commences at the work area, a hazard assessment is carried out to identify site hazards, risks, and the control measures to be implemented. As a part of the work planning, the operator is required to check that the EWP escape kit is in a serviceable condition and within test due date. Check the harness for broken stitching or worn threads, cut or worn webbing, security of D-rings and adjuster buckles, and for signs of damage or defects. Remember to tag and remove from service any safety and rescue equipment found to be unserviceable or out of test. Once all checks have been completed and the EWP has been set up at site, the work can commence. In an escape situation, the operator identifies a clear escape path out of the EWP basket, taking note of nearby live overhead power lines and any traffic or pedestrians in the drop zone below. Removes any tools and equipment, such as extension cords, hauling lines and tool trays that will impede their escape, and releases the escape line from the container, being careful not to drop it, and visually inspects all attachments. If any uninsulated part of the EWP has made accidental contact with live overhead power lines, stay in the basket unless there is a risk of imminent danger to you as the operator. The operator drops the container with the escape line to the ground on the opposite side of the controlled descent device and visually inspects it to ensure it falls clear and is free of any knots or tangles. The operator confirms the escape line is securely attached to the EWP basket anchor point and ensures the controlled descent device is correctly connected to the escape line. The operator will then grip the controlled descent device, ensuring it's at the top end of the escape line and has at least 3 coiled escape lines looped around it, and attaches the controlled descent device to the front belay point on their safety harness using the triple action carabiner. The operator takes up any slack in the equipment line so that it's firm between them and the anchor point of the EWP, and disconnects the shock-absorbing lanyard from their safety harness. Do not disconnect the shock-absorbing lanyard from the rear extension strap on the harness until the controlled descent device is connected to the front belay point. The operator must wear gloves to assist in the control rate of descent. The operator feeds the escape line through the controlled descent device and reconfirms the escape line is clear of obstacles and the controlled descent device is correctly and securely attached to the front belay point of their safety harness. The operator carefully climbs over the lip of the EWP, establishing a standing position on the outside of the basket if possible, and takes a firm grip on the tail of the escape line at arm's length below the controlled descent device and clear of pinch points, maintaining a firm grip on the basket until their body weight is taken up by the escape line. The operator leans back into their safety harness and carefully controls the escape line through the controlled descent, keeping their legs straight until their head is lower than the bottom of the edge of the basket to avoid injury, before lowering their legs from the bottom edge of the basket. Do not attempt to lower your legs from the bottom edge of the basket if your head is not lower than it, as a pendulum effect will cause the head and upper body to strike against the basket. The operator carefully and safely lowers down to the ground while maintaining a firm grip on the escape line tail at arm's length below the controlled descent device. The rate of descent can be controlled by raising the tail of the escape line and applying light tension using one hand. Be careful to avoid obstacles on the descent and avoid loose hair, clothing or gloves jamming the controlled descent device during the escape. The operator's descent can be assisted or controlled by the safety observer, applying light tension to the escape line, keeping the excess line to one side. Once on the ground, it's important for both the operator and the safety observer to move to a safe location away from the EWP, commence first aid if required, and contact the workgroup leader to report the incident as soon as possible.